Well, Justice and Correctional Services Minister Ronald Lamola announced that inmates who sat for the 2020 matric exams achieved an overall pass rate of 86%. Lamola making the announcement at the Loikop Correctional Center. Malungelo Boy has more on that story.
Inmates here at Lievkop prison are in high spirits. That's because prisoners who wrote their grade 12 exams in 2020 at 17 prison schools nationwide have achieved an 86% pass rate. About 160 inmates sat for their exams last year and achieved 76 distinctions. Lwazi Kamane was named as a top achiever. He is a parolee who had been sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for armed robbery. He received at least 4 distinctions.
5 years ngathola ukuthi nginesikole so vele eminyango esikoleni ngathi ngigcine ka standard 8 iphasile ngiphasele ukuya ka standard 9 so mengifike kwezibili ngafika ukuthi nginesikole ngase ngithatha i-decision ukuthi okay ngingene esikoleni so ngangena ka standard 9 awazi ukuthi ngifunde ngathi ngifunda ngokuthini ngaphakathi ke azikho izinto eziningi ezikuphazamisa like eminyango kuyajayivwa dliwa ama-drugs yonke leyo nto le kanjalo so manje izinto ezikuphazamisa khona amantombazane futhi.
Kamane says support from his prison school educators was key in helping him achieve his goal to complete matric.
Ngicabanga sasingena kwara 28 siphuma u6 busuku abo shuthi sasiba ne-break ngabo 12 sikwazi ukuthi sidle this and that othisha ke laba bahlanganisa imali zabo bapheka esikoleni benzela ukuthi sikwazi sithole ukudla ukuthi siqhubeke sisophuma isikole phinde sidle ngabo 3 mhlawumbe kube ukuthi kuba khona futhi sophinde sihambe nakho semaselini esiqhubeke sifunda khona yona sike saba nenkinga yokulwa indaba yagesi le ukuthi so ugesi ubuye ucime kanti manje sekucinywa ugesi usemaseleni awusakwazi uqhubeka ufunda incwadi zakho sayilwa lo ndaba kodwa yagcina ilungile ngoba sesisobhala ama-exam nje ama-trials sobhala ama-trials akamnandi ama-trials ngaphuma number 2 ama-trials aqhubeka umemele bele ngitshela umkhizi ukuthi hawe number 1 wami.
For the past 5 years, matric results for prisoners have been improving. In 2017, they achieved 76.7%. In 2018, they achieved 77%. In 2019, they got 82.6%. And in 2020, they achieved 86%. Officials had this to say about ensuring inmates contribute meaningfully to communities when they get out of prison.
No correctional center should ever breed hardened criminals who upon their release terrorize communities with their newly acquired sophisticated and most brutal acts of criminality. Our centers should not be breeding grounds for criminals, but rehabilitated inmates who can be boiler makers, plumbers, carpenters, farmers, and innovators as stated by MEC Panyazele Sufi.
He says they are working on partnering with the Basic Education Department.
We want, through offender labor, MEC, to respond to some minor maintenance challenges and renovations in schools here in Gauteng.
Authorities say while more inmates are showing interest in competing grade 12, they hope for a consistent improved pass rate. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Malungelo Boy in Johannesburg.
Well, Singabakho Nxumalo is the spokesperson for the Correctional Services Department. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time. Firstly, when you look at the previous years and those inmates that have taken up the opportunity of being able to further their studies, do you see a direct link between that process and how they're able to contribute to society once they've left the prison walls?
A very good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. Amazing results, and I think when we look back at some of the inmates who managed to complete matric and moved on to pursue tertiary education and what they've done thereafter, it's what gives us courage to even work much harder. We've produced lecturers, where we've produced even people who are doing doctorates. Others have even completed those doctorate degrees. So as a department, we continuously say education, is a foundation for rehabilitation. Otherwise, every program that we'll be instituting would become futile. So as a department, when we see inmates achieving such good results, it does say to us, indeed, we are making a very positive impact, not just for correctional services, but for the country as a whole, because the more we get people enrolling for formal education, the less they will opt for the life of crime.
What percentage of inmates actually take up pursuing their studies, especially enrolling then for their matric?
It's quite difficult to work out a percentage, considering that inmates are not with us for a very long time, unless those who are sentenced maybe to like 10 years or even more. But what we've done is that when an inmate is admitted, when we do those needs assessment, if someone, let's say, had dropped out at maybe grade 7, whichever grade below completing matric, we make it a priority that we encourage them to say, pursue formal education, complete your matric, then thereafter, continue even to do other programs. But even for those who may say, look, I may not have the strength maybe to complete matric, we then divert them to our FET programs. Hence, a center like Boksburg has been producing quite a number of artisans. And when they're released, they never stay home to say, I'm unemployed. They get jobs, others even start their own businesses. And as a department, we're saying, look, this is the little contribution that we're able to make. Hence, we always call upon even other structures to say, make education a priority so that all of us, we can educate the nation so that no one will then have to rely on the state, for survival. To say, once you've earned people with necessary skills, then they can go different ways, making wonders with the skills that they have.
Would you say that you've been able to convince the majority of inmates to consider continuing their education, especially for those that may have dropped out of school?
What we realized is that Department of Basic Education was saying learners start school very well, somewhere they disappear from the system. And when we did the analysis, we picked up that a number of them are in our centers. We've said, let us make it impossible for them to escape education. When they come to our centers, we take them back to the to formal education stream, but now within our facilities. The advantage that we have is that when they're with us, they become a captive audience. They're with us all the time, where we can stretch the programs, even attend to an individual needs. So even those who could be struggling, we're able to assist them. Hence, we make it a point that even when we employ educators, we look for the best so that they assist them. Because all that we want to achieve at the end of the day is that people, when are placed out, they go up there, realize a second chance, they never come back to our facilities. And they even show others to say, you know what, I may have committed mistakes in my life, but I'm now a different person. I've got these skills, and I can even make a contribution by starting something and even employ others so that we can reduce the number of people opting for the life of crime, because it doesn't pay at the end of the day.
Correctional Services Spokesperson Singabakho Nxumalo, thank you so much for your time tonight.